Execute this strategy once, and he will never glance at another woman again. These aren't empty, cliched phrases designed to manipulate emotions. We're discussing a genuine psychological mechanism. Carl Jung, the renowned psychoanalyst who explored the depths of human subconsciousness, claimed that certain experiences leave permanent imprints on a man's psyche. These moments aren't merely experienced, they become embedded, transformative, and enduring. Have you ever wondered why certain women remain eternally present in a man's thoughts, while others vanish as though they never existed? In this discussion, I want to reveal exactly what lies beneath this phenomenon. What specific element creates such a dramatic shift? The reality is that genuine intimacy transcends physical boundaries. When authentic mental synchronization occurs, a woman transforms from a fleeting encounter into an obsession, a breathing memory. This transformation doesn't happen randomly. There's a particular force driving this process. When a man becomes incapable of erasing you from his memory, when thoughts of you persist long after everything has ended, it's because you've awakened something within his core. This isn't merely about your words or actions. It's about the emotional state he experienced in your presence. Remember our discussion about intimacy extending beyond physicality? Exactly. A man might eventually forget physical sensations, fragrances, but the emotional intensity of those moments, the way everything made him feel, that remains indelible. This is where we encounter what psychologists call emotional imprinting. It's as if you've left an invisible yet profound signature on his consciousness. Jung believed that when something genuinely penetrates the unconscious mind, that experience becomes the person's emotional reality. Therefore, if you can reach this psychological depth within a man, you cease being merely a memory. You become a benchmark, an internal truth. This explains why certain women achieve unforgettable status. They didn't simply share a moment with him. They orchestrated an entire emotional landscape, a feeling, an experience that continues cycling through his consciousness. The most intriguing aspect isn't about overwhelming effort. Often the mistake lies in attempting to capture attention through excessive measures, whether through dramatic appearance changes or emotional theatrics. While this might briefly attract notice, it quickly fades and becomes forgettable. The woman who truly leaves her mark combines three essential elements. First, something unexpected, a unique approach, an unusual detail, something that makes him pause and think, "I've never encountered this before." Second, authentic emotion, what he genuinely feels in your company. It's not about your words, but the energy you radiate, what he perceives in silence. Third, a lasting visual, when that moment with you transforms into a cinematic scene in his mind, something that replays unexpectedly from time to time. Yes, all of this can be deliberately cultivated. You don't need to rely on chance or coincidence. But first, the crucial question arises. Do you truly know who you are? Are you aware of your energy? Do you understand the impact it creates? Don't worry, this is just the beginning. You're in the right place, and gradually I'll demonstrate how to access this power that already exists within you, waiting to be utilized. If you genuinely want to occupy space in a man's thoughts, simply being physically present isn't sufficient. You must know how to guide moments with sensitivity, with that unforgettable presence. Behind the strong facade many men attempt to project, there still exists that inner sensitive boy waiting to be acknowledged. When a woman manages to reach that part of him, she becomes absolutely unforgettable. Psychologist Carl Jung once shared something profound. Those who don't confront their own shadows end up living those shadows as if they were destiny. Do you understand what this means? If he hasn't yet recognized what he feels, you might be the one who awakens this within him, effortlessly, simply through your presence. This is precisely why, when you're nearby, it's not just another encounter. It's a type of awakening. But how does this manifest practically? It's when he senses that you understand him, even when he remains silent. When you look into his eyes and silently absorb everything happening within him, and without any drama, you gracefully withdraw with elegant ease, as if nothing extraordinary occurred. If you've stayed here listening to all of this, it's because you're different from the majority. Most people would have stopped halfway, but you remained. This demonstrates that within you exists something unique, a deeper curiosity, a genuine desire to understand the masculine universe. And perhaps, just perhaps, this is the beginning of that internal transformation you've been seeking for some time. Now it's time to keep this flame burning. If you want to continue exploring these reflections and growing with such content, I'm here with you in every new video. Now tell me, what do you think truly remains in a man's mind after a significant moment with you? Was it the touch, the smile, or just the physical aspect? The truth is that for most men, what creates the greatest impact isn't physical contact, but rather what stirred their mind. Because the body might eventually forget, but the mind, that never forgets. This is exactly where you can distinguish yourself, when you don't just offer the physical, but touch something deeper that he didn't even know existed within him. This is how you operate on another level and succeed. Jung also said that we seek in others what we haven't yet discovered within ourselves. In other words, if in your presence he begins experiencing things he can't even name, if he perceives sensations he's never felt before, he starts viewing you differently. You stop being just another woman and become a reflection, a mirror. And whoever sees themselves in a mirror never forgets what they witnessed. This is why so many women say that after intimacy, men change, become cold, disappear. But the truth is that often there was no connection beyond the physical. Nothing remained in his mind. When you cultivate uncertainty, intrigue, an unnamed feeling, he begins questioning what that experience was. The more he attempts to comprehend it, the more connected to you he becomes. Don't assume this lies beyond your capabilities. This bond emerges through subtleties, in how you shift your gaze during crucial moments, through vocal tones that change imperceptibly. Through energy, you radiate without physical contact. These nuances create traces, becoming etched as sensory and emotional memories within his subconscious mind. The reality is straightforward. Many women approach, few create lasting impressions. A man only stays when, beyond attraction, he feels compelled to understand you completely. This isn't about manipulation, it's about depth. When a woman possesses depth, she doesn't just captivate a man's body, she reaches his consciousness. This is extraordinary. Have you wondered why certain men simply vanish after intimate moments? Perhaps the more honest question isn't why he disappeared, but rather what did I make him experience? If you stirred confused sensations within him, something inexplicable, he won't forget you easily, because that feeling will persist, demanding answers, and nobody abandons what they're still attempting to comprehend. Many men struggle articulating their emotions, yet the thought lingering in their minds is, this woman was unique. Not because you accomplished something magnificent, sometimes it was merely words spoken at perfect timing, or silence, that moment of quietness that communicated more than countless sentences. Jung also stated that we experience our unconscious through worldly encounters, meaning what he experienced with you might unknowingly have been the answer to a part of himself he was ignoring. If you become that mirror, that reflection of something he's still discovering, you create bonds far stronger than any other. Connections that don't dissolve over time because it's not attachment to your body, but to his very soul. Certain things pass, yet remain in consciousness. Relationships may end, but what truly marked someone endures. A man might continue living, meet other people, relocate, but he never forgets a woman who left profound impressions, who remained in memory, not for her body, but for her presence. Therefore, don't force connections. Awaken thoughts. Don't insist he wants to see you. stimulate curiosity, because a woman who generates genuine interest, who makes a man wonder about her, she's never forgotten. She's remembered effortlessly because she affects his imagination. Some women enter a man's life quietly, yet leave echoes that never fade. They don't need to speak much because their presence communicates alone. Without words, they're capable of disrupting his thoughts, touching places he didn't know existed. Most intriguing is that he feels something powerful, but cannot explain precisely what. After intimacy, it's common for many men to withdraw, believing they've experienced what they wanted. But if you're more than what he expected to find, if you're not just a memory, but an unanswered question, then the story doesn't end there, because humans cannot detach from what they're still trying to understand. This is where mystery's power lies. If he's still attempting to decode you, it's evidence he's still connected to you, not just physically, but mentally. This carries much greater weight than any superficial attraction. Carl Jung said something that makes complete sense here. True connection happens between souls, not between bodies. When this dance between souls occurs, you cease being just a woman. You become part of his emotional journey, a turning point, an encounter that transformed something within. This type of experience has no substitute because most people pass by, offering only moments. But when you truly see who he is, when you genuinely connect, you become unforgettable, even if you never speak another word. When a man experiences something significant with a woman, he doesn't just retain her image. He preserves how she made him feel, her scent, voice tone, energy. Everything gets recorded. But what truly remains is the emotion all this awakened. If that night, while being with you, he felt more than attraction, if he felt accepted, powerful, admired, then you became much more than a memory. You became a reference point, marking before and after. Because men don't just attach to women they desire, they truly connect with those who help them see who they are, those who illuminate darkness where only shadows existed before. Jung also said, "We only begin truly seeing others when we recognize our own emptiness." Here's what's interesting. If you don't try filling his void, but help him examine it with clarity, you become part of his awakening. You become the fundamental piece of his evolution. This cannot be forgotten. At this point, no other woman will seem sufficient because you touched something beyond the physical. You reached a profound level, the soul's intimacy. Bodies fade, but souls preserve everything that truly matters. Now let me ask you an important question, one that's truly valuable. Are you the type of woman who leaves marks on a man's mind? Before rushing to answer, understand, this response isn't found in a man's opinion. It lies in who you truly are. It's in how you make someone feel beside you. Because a man doesn't just remember a woman's face. He remembers moments when she made him feel seen, strong, respected. Here's the great secret. If you want to be remembered, create emotional memories. Make him feel genuinely free, accepted without masks. If he felt this way with you, done, he'll never forget. Because what men miss most isn't just beauty, nor just presence, but the woman who made them feel loved exactly as they are, without judgment, without demands, just authentic presence. Now I want to hear from you. After an intimate moment, what do you think passes through a man's mind most? Comment below. I want to see who can dive deepest into this reflection. If you enjoy this type of content that makes you think and feel simultaneously, leave your like on the video and subscribe to this channel.